All right. Okay. Hello, everybody on tonight's training. This is Claudia here, and I have wonderful, beautiful people on the call with me here tonight, which is fantastic. Now, I have to do something. I think Sean always tells me it's the gallery view. Yes, gallery view. There you go. I got it. Awesome. I am learning too, you see. Richie is also on the call. Dr. Blue on the call. Audrey, Cedric, Sahir, Deb, and of course the whole family of the Blues. We have Paula coming on board. We have Imran. We have, boy, so many people coming on board. Really, really great. So I'm not going to do any screen sharing or presentation whatsoever. I want you to just basically put your pen and paper. You want to make some notes. You want to re-listen many times over this presentation, because I'm going to talk about the 6 levels of communication skills. Now, I did a training on Monday. You all should listen to that, because this is actually where I handle some really great objections people have. So you got to know that. You got to know how to answer them if you want to get better results. But in this training, I'm going to talk about the 6 levels of communication. So we have to talk to our prospects. So why not talk at the highest level of communication? Now, you may wonder what that is. Well, see, we all are here because we want to have better results. Yes, we all are here because we want to have a better chance for success. So what's happening when we don't communicate effectively? Think about this. Almost everyone we talk to is actually pre-sold. So they want actually our product and service. They want more money in their life, right? So we have something what prospects want. Yet most prospects, they will actually tell us they aren't interested. Isn't that strange? What does actually go wrong? Well, when we talk the message inside our heads and try to put that message inside the prospect heads, something goes terribly wrong, right? What our prospect understand is actually different from what we intended to convey. So we want to start our business fast. I think we all agree with that. So that means getting our message inside our prospect heads as efficiently as possible. And by efficiently, I really mean by quickly and accurately. So miscommunication slows everything down. So we will always have to, basically choose the highest level of communication whenever we can possible when we're talking to our prospects. So let's take a look, of course, what are those 6 levels? Level 1 of communication is talking at someone, that is, okay? So the lowest level of communication is a simple email or a text message. Why? Well, there's no visuals. We can't see our prospect, we can't see our prospect's body language, and they can't see ours. And of course, it gets worse actually. So our email, of course, could easily be misunderstood. It's a one-way communication. We are talking, but we don't really get immediate feedback. So it's harder to write correctly an email and clearly than, of course, talking to someone. And of course, it's also very impersonal. No one likes to be treated like a lead or like a statistic, correct? So now a simple email or text message isn't bad. It is just the lowest form of communication. So it's hard to communicate our belief, show our passion, and worst of all, it can be easily deleted or even go to spam. So there's no sense of urgency. There's no appearance of importance, and just a planned written word makes, of course, this level of communication a difficult way to sell. However, it may be our only means of communication. For instance, when we want to send out, let's say, 30,000 copies of our newsletter, well, we know we don't have the time to call all those 30,000 people, or sometimes we don't have our prospect's phone number. And this might be the only way to message them. But here's, where things are really getting wrong. See, level 1 of communication is talking at someone. It's a one-way communication, and there's no feedback. There's not of understanding, of approval. So we are literally blind to any reaction and questions from our prospects, So it's just us talking about us and what we offer. It isn't about our prospects. And that is, of course, boring to them. In network marketing, see, our goal is to create relationships with people. The deeper the relationship, the stronger our group actually becomes. If we have a low-level relationships with our team, our connections will be weak. And this is, of course, where there's no strong base to build the business upon. So think about, I always go back about dating because it's just the best way. So think about dating. How strong would our relationships be if we only would send text messages? No pictures, just a one-way communication with text. Well, we never meet in person. Not very effective, right? And not very enjoyable either. So consider simple text message as a low level of communication medium. We can, of course, do much better. So whenever possible, let's try to communicate with our prospects at one of the higher levels. So let's look at level 2 communication, and that is talking at someone. So what is better than a simple email or text message? Obviously, a website, a company video, a brochure, of course, or at least we can include, some graphics there. We can sort of some talking head videos, right? So, but still, it is talking at someone. Can we see the problem already? Yes. We are of course, still talking at prospects. It's still a one-way communication. Get no feedback. We get no approval. We get no participation when we're talking at our prospects. So we are still kind of operating blind. So we can, of course, preach, we can hype all we want, but maybe no one is actually reading or listening, you see? So feedback helps us, of course, make a message specific and targeted to our prospect. For instance, so we want to write or talk about our company's background, but all our prospect is really interested in is our product. This is not a good communication. Good communications requires, of course, feedback. And all these tools, they actually slow our business down. They put off the decision to buy or to join. So we tell our prospects to spend time reviewing information, yet these actions delay our process. Video on our website, our prospects, they don't really have time to watch the video. They even, hate watching a 15-second commercial. So I think the study was like the goldfish has 9 seconds of attention span, yet we have 8. So when we send them to our website to watch a 5-minute video, 10 minutes or 15 minutes video, what will they think? They will think, well, I don't have time to watch a 15 minutes commercial. So let me quickly find a reason not to join. That's what our prospect thinks. So now our prospect are looking for reasons not to join instead of looking for reasons to join. This is why we never, see or hear from many prospects again. Now, I know what you're thinking, guys, but don't wait, of course, until I go through all the 6 levels of communication, because yes, in one sense, we are telling people to go to the website, go to the video. So 1 second, I'm getting there. I know you guys confusion what I'm saying now, but I'm getting there, so bear with me. So a brochure or detailed information pack, again, it's the same deal. We are talking at our prospects. And what is the most result, of course, of giving out these information packs? Follow-up becomes difficult. If we do manage, of course, to reconnect to our prospects, they will most likely say, I haven't had time to review it yet, right? And that is a lot of easier for the prospect actually to tell us, that they are not really interested. So we might often hear a piece of advice, let the tools do the work. I say that, I give this advice, let the tools do the work. But hang on a second. This sounds good, and we think, well, all I have to do is get tools to hundreds of prospects' hands, and then my prospect will actually carefully evaluate the information, make an informed decision based on, of course, the information presented. Just, of course, saying this out loud will, give us a bad feeling. Why? Well, first, prospects don't have time to review information, as we just established, about our personal agenda. Nobody's interested in our personal agenda. So already this feels like being sold, and prospects hate being sold. They just don't like it. So second, if getting tools and information into prospects' hand, if it worked, well, then why would our network marketing company, why would UtopianGlobal need us? They could just bypass us and simply get the information to the prospects. See, the reality is that it takes more than information and tools to build a relationship with our prospect. It does actually take us. I remember one of became a great friend, one of a great inspiration to me. One of the guys, trainers I would get also some of the education from, he always said, well, see, if network marketing would just work on the internet, then, well, since when could babies just create it over the internet? Well, they cannot. It takes a relationship to it. So it takes a real relationship to it. So that's why it's just not only created through the internet. You eventually have to make a connection. You eventually need to meet. You eventually need to do that. So again, first, prospects, they don't have time to review the information, right? Second, if getting, of course, tools worked, well, why the company would need us? Of course, the reality is it takes much more. So why is it then that there are so many tools for distributors to use or for affiliates to use when tools are actually so ineffective? I'm just saying that right now, or I'm just basically also asking you the question. Well, because new distributors who have a very poor or no network marketing communication skills when they get started, right? They haven't done this. They don't know nothing. So a tool with a low conversation rate is just better than nothing. That is why, okay? That is why. Because when they get started, they have no levels of communication. They don't know that. They don't have that yet. So that's why a tool is just better. But this is why, of course, we want to graduate, right, into a real communication and relationship skills as quickly as possible. So it's difficult to build a strong long-term business by avoiding real conversations with people and simply passing out tools. It is just not possible. Again, if you do sell, let's say a book, because you have written a book, okay, so you maybe, because of funnel systems, you can sell that book, but still, look at all the book authors. Where do they go? They go to events, they build relationships, they build a following, they have other people to promote them, so they make them known, and then eventually going to sell their book, right? So in one sense, it's not really so much different there. So we need to build relationships, and we need to learn how to build relationships. It's impossible to be successful in the business, I believe, without learning the skills of relationship building. So let's go and jump on now to level 3 of communication. That is now a two-way communication. You see, now we are not anymore talking at, now we're having a two-way communication. What do I mean by that? Well, of course, it sounds already better. It's a live telephone call with a prospect. This is, for example, a two-way communication. So we can give our prospect our message, we can listen for feedback, we can hear our prospect's tone of voice, we can check for an understanding, we can answer our prospect's questions, We can hear our prospect side when we talk too long. So, this is a conversation. Now, we don't, of course, want to ruin the conversation by doing all the talking, right? Remember, this is a two-way communication. And having the chance, of course, to listen to our prospect, their concerns and their interest helps us then customize our presentation. Now we can, of course, talk about exactly what is actually they want to know. For example, we discovered that this prospect doesn't want to know about, our licenses we have, our a great product, but only wants to know if the company offers training, education. Well, this makes, of course, then the communication way faster, more efficient, more personal. See, our goal is to build, again, our business fast, isn't it? And two-way communications is, of course, much faster than simply sending a message. So think of typical messaging experience. We send a message, we wait for the reply, then we send another short message, and we wait for the reply, and then we know what happens, and we can go forever and ever. With live two-way communications, we can, of course, shortcut the conversation. 5 minutes of talking could replace actually 5 days of messaging, isn't it? So two-way communication allows us to move our prospects forward in decision-making process. And that's the direction we want to go forward. But it's a caution, of course, basically fatal mistake when we approach, of course, and that is, let's say we are using the level 3 communication, the two-way communication on a phone call with a prospect. So imagine, people actually, because this is all happening all the time, would we like the communication actually from the two-way, which is now the third level, make better, or do we want to make it worse? Would we like to handicap the conversation or not? Well, all we would like, or what we have to do, make things worse, is actually sending now our prospect to our website. That is, of course, a lower level of conversation. So we took our conversation from a two-way communication, phone call, to a one-way communication, a website, which just talks about what? When we went from a level 3 communication down to a 2-level communication, we're actually doing it the wrong way. And what's happening when our prospect goes to our website? They can't find the answer, of course, of the question they have. They get bored reading about the company's background. The videos talk about something they're not really interested in. They make a decision based on a 1-minute glance. They look for a reason not to join the business or buy. They leave our page to check social media. And they miss the motivation from us to move forward. Motivation from us? Well, our products, services, and opportunity, they're all great. We know that. We help making people's life better. But we don't have to sell these. Our prospects, they already want a better life. So what do we sell them? What is it? Some hand holding while our prospect is going to make a change. It's easy for our prospect to make a decision to buy or join, yes? But it's harder for them to implement the decision. Why? Because we all have programs or programming in our mind that tell us, be careful, don't change. We don't know what will happen in the future if we make a change. These programs, of course, they often hold us back from a better life. So our prospects want change, but they also don't want to make or do mistakes. They remember changes they may made in the past that didn't really work out. And they want our hand holding and confidence when they make their change to our products and opportunities. They want, of course, more support than just a personal decision. Why? Well, because they know their friends will make fun of them if they make bad choices. And this is why we are here, to help them have the confidence to move forward. We want to keep the conversation at the highest level possible, at least at least at a level 3 communication. Two-way communication gives, of course, our prospect the confidence to take action of a yes decision. But what, of course, if we are brand new? Well, if we are new, we think, I don't know what to say. And rightly so. I just want to pass out tools that talk at prospects. I don't want to talk to anyone. Is there some way I can automate the process so I don't have to get involved? I hear that all the time, I can tell you. Well, we can think that, but isn't that really taking a victim mentality instead of taking responsibility and learning exactly what we have to say? See, to be professional, we will have to learn how to talk to people, right? We have to learn that. I mean, I wasn't good at it. I started. I would put countless of hours of listening when I was driving to work, when I was going back from work, every time I had, just to learn how to communicate. Instead of listening to music, I would turn on, great trainers, Tom Bigel-Schweider, Tim Sells, about how to communicate, because I had to learn it. So again, we can say, okay, well, we just want to use tools. I doubt you will be successful. You got to learn how to communicate. Yeah. And that will help you again in your relationships with your spouse, with your husband, with your children. It's going to be so great that you really can talk to literally anybody. It doesn't matter if you're talking to the president or if you're talking, to the beggar on the street, you will have a great communication. So, because you learned that skills, so why not starting it now? So to be a professional, again, we have to learn that. Because, here's the really harsh reality about our prospects' decisions. When we learn exactly how our prospect makes decisions, we understand that it's not a tool. It is what we say, listen to that. It is what we say and do before the tool that will make the most difference. If we can't get our prospect to watch the video or join a presentation, then our tool is useless. The ATM Make Wealth Real Group is useless. So we got to learn how to do that. See, and then we go, of course, level 4 communication. That is a two-way conversation. Now, via video, what we are doing right now with you guys here on the call, we are actually on level 4 communication, two-way conversation, or of course, a few more people now on the call via video, right? Zoom. So while words are obviously critical, the tonality, the body language are equally as important. Non-verbal communication is huge. Our words are important. You need proof of it, or say the wrong word and watch what's actually going to happen on the body language, right? Body language, facial expressions, and our tone of voice are so essential in communication elements. So let's say or for example, of course, with a 4-level communication, a video call, we can see our prospects' faces now, and we can see when our prospect is actually rolling their eyes. When we talk, about the tiny details of our compensation plan, we can see when we get them bored. So why do it? It's not their interest. So we can see our prospects fall asleep during our presentation. But we also can see when there is a smile and they agree with us. So that little smile might tell us that we are talking about exactly what our prospects want to hear. So we are now communicating of a much higher level. So with a video call, of course, our prospect can see our faces, read our micro facial expressions. Our prospect can, of course, see the interest in the part of the conversation. So, it is easy to be rude when messaging, and it's easy to be rude on a faceless person over the phone, but it's really a lot harder to be rude face-to-face on a video call. Because with a face-to-face conversation, our prospect They are just simply more polite. So how do we get now reluctant prospects on a video call? How do we do that? With better words, of course. So if our words are weak or uninspiring, our prospects make a no decision. Simple as that. They won't tell us no. It's easier for them to save face by saying, well, please send me more information. Have you got that once or twice or many times? I will look at the website when I get a chance. I will call you when I have more time. I'm busy and traveling now. Send me the facts. That just simply means they are not interested. So see the trend there? Weak words, okay? Weak words create no decisions. Prospects won't have the courage to make a change in their lives if our words are not compelling. So what can we say to entice our prospects to have a higher level of communication with us? Well, let's look at some ideas. Tell our prospects that we are offering one more options for their lives. You know, this already then released the tension and fear of a high pressure sales call. Tell our prospects we have something to demonstrate to them that they can use via video. And a simple, impressive, of course, product demonstration, let's say showing a gold bar in your hand, that does a lot. Or showing maybe you on the asset, when of course some people, I know Cedric actually went there, he saw it. I know Dr. Blue with all his family was on the call. They went to the asset, they saw it. I know some people here from the UK went there, they saw it. So I mean, this is impressive, isn't it? And then of course, what else can we do? Remind our prospects that we want to save them time. That's a good one. Tell our, of course, apprehensive prospects, we can do all of this in 3 minutes with a 1-minute presentation or a 2-minute story. That leaves us, of course, plenty of extra time for word pictures or chit chat, because we have learned the 1-minute or 2-minute micro story presentation, don't we? If, of course, you listen to the other trainings. So tell our prospects you might want to see who you are dealing with. That also is a good one. We are going to be partners for a long time. So then make sure we smile, of course. We don't want to look at a serial criminal. You could also, you know, say that to people. So we give them option. You want to see, well, who you partnering with, who you going into a venture with. So there's a bonding when we see someone face to face. Let's use that bonding to communicate better, right? So let's go at level 5 communication. And this is a two-way conversation, but it's now in person. What happens when we meet someone in person? Well, we're having a different relationship, a conversation that a very different one, right? Than we had just when we had a text message. In person, it's just very special. There's a bonding that we can't get from a simple message. Let's look at an example. Imagine that we know some fellow distributors from messages or phone calls. And as we build more of a relationship, we look forward to actually meet them in person. We participated together, through the year in telephone conferences, calls, and trainings. There's a sort of new special bond created. And we say, oh, I've been really looking for meeting you all this year. And because humans are social. That's how we are. And this is why, we are addicted to messaging, social media, parties. That's why we want to go to parties. We love to connect. Connecting in person is so much more powerful than a text message or a phone call. So now consider this. If we could send a message to a prospect, level 1 communication, or meet a person face-to-face, level 5 communication, which one would you choose? Which one? Obviously level 5. So if we wanted to communicate at a higher level to be more effective and save time, then yes, we would choose always to meet the person. So we can see the tragedy, of course, approaching again. Can we imagine meeting a prospect in person having a two-way conversation, seeing the body language, listening to that person's concern, and then sending the prospects to the web page. Can you see the tragedy of it? Well, that is going from level 5 communication all the way down to level 2 communication. Now, it makes sense when we hear professional network marketers say, the easiest way to get rid of prospects is send them to your website. And this is funny, but only to those, of course, who know the 6 levels of communication. See, we don't want to go down in our levels of communication. We want to go up, right? And so let's look at more examples. So we make contacts on social media. Yeah? Initial, they hesitate to communicate. Our goal is, of course, to move them up the communication ladder to level 3, to level 4, or even to level 5 of conversation, when possible. Yeah, we always want to improve our levels of communication. And that's understandably. Understandably, this is not, of course, always possible as well. So let's look at an example. So we meet a prospect on an airplane. This prospect is living 1,000 miles away or more, whatever. So even through we meet the prospect at level 5, it will be difficult to continue that level 5 communication. We can't meet everyone, of course, in person. There's a distance, there's time considerations. So if you can't meet someone in person because they live thousands of miles away, simply choose, of course, the highest level communication that is actually available to us. Yes. So right now with coronavirus, all of a sudden, what normally the way, like myself as well, would have worked a business that is meeting a person has changed. We all had to go to learn to use Zoom, you see, but still it is a better level of communication than just on a phone call where I don't see my person, or just on a text message, right? So of course we want to meet everyone in person. But for example, if we can't meet the prospect on level 5, could we actually then see them at level 4, a video phone call? If not, could we talk to them at level 3? Maybe a regular phone call. Always, always choose the highest level of communication available to us. So level 6 communication is, of course, my preferred choice. And that is a two-way conversation in person over food. Now, I love food. I prefer even to cook it. So that's also really great. I mean, I just love to do team trainings and even have prospects invited, and I do the cooking. Why not? So I love cooking. But anyway, let's look at the two-way conversation in person over food. See, for centuries, right? People have bonded on what? On banquets, right? There's a very special connection when we meet someone in person over food. See, the simple act of sharing a meal together guarantees, of course, a pleasant and a very polite, two-way conversation. No one gets mad while having a meal with us. See, consider the quality, high-level communication of a simple business presentation over food. It may be more powerful than 1,000 messages or 10 ordinary phone conversations. We're talking quality over quantity. See, in network marketing, how many good quality people do we need to personally sponsor? Just a few. That's why we want to give ourselves the best chance with a high quality level of 6 communication over meal experience. So we love meeting people over food. And of course, if we talk too much, at least our prospect has a chance to say something while we chew our bites of food, right? So it's easy to meet people over food. And if, again, we invite people to meet us over food, we can do that every day. Simple say, hey, I know, Dr. Blue, that you're pressed for time, so let's meet over lunch. You have to eat anyways, right? When we're having a conversation with prospects over food, tension goes away all of a sudden. This isn't a regular sales presentation. We communicate better when our prospects, of course, is relaxed, when they are enjoying their food, and the bonding experience is way better. So if you are new to network marketing, we probably going to be thinking, well, but how do I show the company video and set up the flip chart while I'm eating? Well, you don't. The reality is that our prospect, again, makes the final decision to do business with us before the presentation, not after. So we will get our prospect's final decision, okay, over the first minute or two of lunch with a 1-minute presentation or a 2-minute story. That's why we got to learn the 1-minute presentation or the 2-minute story. See, our prospects can see the supporting information all day long later whenever they want, at their convenience. They can look at the brochure, they can look at the videos, they can come to a company call after that later. We will spend lunch talking about the big picture and what we want to do with our new business partnership. People join people. Don't forget that. They don't join companies. They don't join compensation plans. They don't have enough facts before they join. That comes later, those facts. So since we only have to sponsor a few good people, our strategy could be just have a conversation with a different person each and every day for lunch or dinner. Until I find, of course, some good people, you see? Wasn't that easy? Well, this will take, of course, the focus away from expensive marketing, funnel advertising, capture pages, online videos, autoresponders, or in videos that no one will watch. Level 6 communication is having an enjoyable two-way communication with our prospects over food. And it really doesn't get better than that. So whenever possible, go for level 6. And this is the thing, whenever possible. It is not always possible, right? Whenever possible, go for level 6. So let's review. Level 1 communication is simple message. Level 2 communication, web page, a video, a brochure. These are low levels of one-way communication. You're talking at the prospect. Having a conversation with someone is a two-way communication, which of course is way better effective, right? Level 3 communication is a phone call. Level 4 communication is a video call, Zoom. Of course, level 5 communication is meeting someone in person. Level 6 communication is meeting someone in person over food. Always choose the highest level of communication that is available to us. So level 6 communication sounds awesome, but we may be thinking, I'm not full-time. I can't meet people over food. Let's make this work. Why? Because level 6 communication gives us the best chance to build a good relationship, okay, with our future leaders. So how about I give you some examples, because those are real life examples. So once a week, let's say you or myself, I did that. I actually did it in different locations, even different places, different countries. I did it. So I remember I was building, of course, with my friend Katie in Las Vegas. And so yeah, that was actually really, really fun. So what did I do? We always went to a coffee shop. Now, not that it was the best coffee, but it's just simple. At the coffee shop, you sit there, you meet people, people come, you make appointments, and they come and meet you for a coffee presentation. Pretty simple. So I have a good example from a guy, Jerry. What he would do is once a week, he spent most of his day at a coffee shop, and it's of course like a mobile office, free Wi-Fi, unlimited refills of coffee, especially if you're in America. Just perfect place to meet. So if Jerry's prospect, of course, are early risers, over their way to work, they can meet him for early coffee or quick breakfast. Prospects, they will get their questions answered, they meet, they bond with him, right? And they think, well, Jerry's a nice guy. you know, he's easy going, relaxed approach. So he's someone, you know, would like to do business with. Now what's happened when those prospects get back on the freeway and they going to fight the traffic to their jobs? Well, what do you think they are thinking? They might think, well, if Jerry can do this business, so can I. Learning how to drink a coffee and eat breakfast, you know, can't be all that hard. And having a nice, you know, guy to chat with or nice people to chat with, you know, in the morning doesn't sound so boring. So if I could do this, you know, I could still do my job. That's what people are thinking. And over time, of course, just like Jerry, I could quit my job and do this full time. See, I bet he's leaving for the golf course now as he finishes the breakfast, I might be thinking, right? So when Jerry doesn't have prospects sitting across the table, what is Jerry doing? He's then going to do busy work, that is catching up with emails, with messages, maybe listen to a training call, listening to personal development, whatsoever, right? But then, you know what's happening? And I have experienced it so many times. The restaurant staff is actually asking what you're doing. And because, you know, when you're regular, then they always ask, well, what are you doing? And so there the flow of prospects never ends. So when Jerry gets bored, what does he do? Well, he can then just go to another restaurant for breakfast and meets a new group of prospects. Pretty simple. So see, we don't have to be all day long there, basically. We could have a level 6 breakfast meeting every day before we go to work. Or why not do that for lunch every day? See, we are surrounded by employees who want to look for alternatives to their day-to-day grind, don't we? Every person drinks coffee at least once a day, or tea. Do coffee drinkers feel more comfortable drinking coffee? Sure. Do people feel more comfortable eating lunch? Yeah. So see, now we're speaking at level 6 of communication. Another one is pizza. Doesn't everybody loves pizza? I know you guys loving pizza. So just look at this example. Set an entire Saturday maybe aside to meet prospects over pizza. Meet them at a local pizza parlor, whatever. 1 or 2 prospects at a time. Continually order pizza all day long while meeting new prospects. You know, it doesn't sound scary to prospects to meet someone over a slice of pizza, or, you know, a 2-minute story doesn't take long. And then we can talk about the details of partnering in the future. See, it's not about giving the full corporate presentation. Again, it's just this bonding, that story. Do I want to be in business with you? Do I want an option out of my busy schedule? Do I want the option of having a bit better life? Do I want to have an option of, instead of fighting traffic every day, better eating pizzas all day long with people? See, the invitation, we could talk, of course, to someone during the week and say, let's meet for a slice of pizza on Saturday. How about 2 p.m.? I know you have to pick up your son from practice anyways at 3 p.m. So this business maybe not for you, maybe not. It's maybe a good option for you, maybe not. But who knows what the future will bring. And we can catch up a bit too. So this is how it should work, of course, when we use the 6th level of communication. Okay, we can, of course, put together much better invitation than I just said. But, you know, I think you get the point. It isn't hard to fill our Saturday with appointments if you're offering people one more option in their lives. See, renting a hotel meeting room can be expensive. Plus, we have to invite guests to our hotel business opportunity meetings. And of course, now in Corona time anyway, forget that. But let's say it wasn't, you know, sometimes they worry about a big sales pitch is coming. It's easier, of course, to invite the guests to a business dinner. Are business dinners expensive? You know, we might find, of course, that they are at the same price or even less than renting a hotel or a room. Plus, of course, our guests, you know, can come directly from their job and they can have early dinner. So they will, of course, be home much earlier than if they had to go to a business presentation or start later. Everybody pays for their own dinner. Very easy approach, way better. And also many restaurants, they have also banquet rooms. So they're happy, to allow us often banquet rooms for free as long as we buy dinner or side rooms. And this is, of course, a win-win situation. The restaurants get more business, the guests get a free dinner, and of course, we have more guests that want to come, and our costs are the same as an expensive hotel room. So another good one is, of course, let's say you have a group together or more people coming, charge a few dollars. Let's say if you do a Saturday training event, charge a few dollars, get a side room, get a banquet room, include lunch, not the expensive full service hotel lunch for doing a training, because who wants to pay $50 for lunch? Nobody. Instead, the group, of course, move to a limited service hotels. Many limited service hotels, they use breakfast rooms during breakfast hours only, and then they lock the rooms to the door, until the next morning. So what you can do is you save, actually, let's say you have this group already now going and you want them to get trained, but it's real magic to the team and the people, because now you have a team of people. They come to a group training, they may bring prospects along, and so everybody is doing and feeling good. They didn't get distracted by leaving during the lunch hour. The team communicated at level 6 of the entire lunch period, and the family atmosphere. That's what we create, a family atmosphere of having a group lunch, made team members come back again for more, of course, conversations, for more training. And I really love them, really, really key. And this is how really I started my business, and the team grow, and so on, because they love those things happening. So this is what I wanted to talk with you guys today. We're going to talk on the next training more so on following up, of course, how to do the follow-ups, how to get then our message across, and of course, when we do the following up, so that we are not getting rejected, how we get referrals when we feel, of course, people are not coming back to us without, of course, upsetting them. Or very often, it's sort of like, oh, you follow up, but there's nothing coming back. How to do it nicely that you still can stay friends, even though, let's say you see the person and next somewhere in a party or whatever, and the person never really responded back to you, so that you don't have to hide from each other because he didn't respond, but that it doesn't, no matter what, you basically cleared the schedule. So this is what we're going to talk about next training. Yes, so today it was really about those 6 levels of communication. You got to get it. You really got to apply this information. You got to go back to the training. You got to go back, of course, to it. Listen to my first call. Listen to this one, so that you really get and grasp the idea. And of course, very important, you have to go back to the trainings of the magic words, of the 1-minute pitch, the 1-minute presentation, the 2-minute story. Very, very key, because this is what you got to learn. You got to learn how to present the business in 1 or 2 minutes, because nobody wants boring presentations. So with that, I'm going to just end the recording. Thank you guys, and I hope you enjoyed the recording. I'm going to stop